Office vacancy rates in the U.S. just hit 19.6%, the highest in history. Entire skyscrapers are sitting dark. Campus cafeterias are quiet. And some of the world's biggest tech companies are downsizing. On purpose. So what's really going on here? Why are these once booming giants suddenly so empty? Let's find out. The Great Office Retreat. It started gradually, but now it's impossible to ignore. Downtown business districts across the U.S. feel deserted. With hybrid and remote work now a permanent fixture, the traditional office isn't just under pressure. It's actively being abandoned. When COVID hit in 2020, companies scrambled to adapt. Remote work went from a fringe benefit to the default. But what was supposed to be temporary revealed an uncomfortable truth. People were not only just as productive at home, they often preferred it. And for many employees, working remotely was more equitable. Office environments didn't offer the same level of comfort, accessibility, or inclusion to everyone. Remote work became a quiet equalizer. So when it came time to return to the office, the enthusiasm just wasn't there, and neither were the leases. Employers began downsizing their physical footprints. Today, companies are rethinking office space entirely. What it's for, who it serves, and how much of it is actually needed. The numbers tell the story. According to McKinsey, office space used in cities has dropped by 20% to 40%. CBRE reports that in cities like San Francisco, buildings that were once worth $300 million now fetch barely $60 million, a brutal 80% plunge. New York has lost nearly $500 billion in office real estate value since 2020. Vacancy rates are hitting record highs, even in smaller cities like Durham, North Carolina, where buildings like IQVIA's headquarters sit empty. This isn't just a commercial real estate story, it's a workplace revolution. Office attendance has hovered at about 50% of pre-COVID levels for over a year now. Tuesdays and Wednesdays see a slight bump, but Fridays might as well be a ghost town. Some buildings are suffering more than others. CBRE found that just 10% of U.S. office buildings account for 80% of the vacancy since 2020. Many of these so-called hardest-hit buildings are in urban areas with high crime, limited amenities, and poor access to food or retail. In fact, in some cases, property owners are simply handing over the keys to the bank. It's worth 30% less, they say. I can't fill it. Even before the pandemic, offices were overbuilt and underused. Employers leased more space than they needed, betting on growth or simply misjudging how many people actually showed up. Now, with clear data in hand and remote work here to stay, companies are no longer interested in paying for space that sits dark and empty. The corporate struggle to adapt, but shrinking office space is just one piece of a much larger challenge. The post-pandemic corporate world is messy. Systems that were cobbled together over decades don't talk to each other. Teams operate in silos. Data is fragmented. Legacy software slows everything down. And all of this inefficiency is becoming increasingly expensive. As companies rethink physical space, they're also trying to fix the digital mess behind the scenes. Many are still relying on outdated tools and disconnected programs, making it difficult to get a clear picture of what's actually happening across the organization. This slows down decisions, limits collaboration, and traps valuable insights inside individual departments. At the same time, remote and hybrid work is changing the way employees interact with office spaces. With workers in and out of the building, traditional layouts no longer make sense. Conference rooms sit unused. Desks collect dust. Energy bills climb. But return on investment? That's harder to justify. Nearly 2/3 of employees now say remote work is more important to them than even salary. And over half say they'd quit if forced to return to the office full-time. For businesses, this shift in worker preference is unavoidable. It's not just about perks. It's about productivity and purpose. Many remote employees report higher efficiency and less burnout. That means office design, technology, and even company culture must evolve to keep up. Meanwhile, the financial pressure is mounting. With budgets tighter than ever, companies are being forced to do more with less. Inflation, reduced revenue, and the cost of enabling remote work have led to tough decisions about spending. The margin for waste has evaporated. There's a growing need to optimize both physical space and digital infrastructure. But doing so requires investment in technology. That's where tools like IoT sensors, space management platforms, and AI-powered dashboards come into play. These systems track occupancy in real time, flag inefficiencies, and help businesses plan smarter. In a world where 30% of your real estate might be wasted, insights like that aren't just helpful, they're essential. Shrinking headcounts, rising machines. And then there's the workforce itself. If offices are empty and systems are broken, there's one more elephant in the room: the jobs themselves. In 2025 alone, the tech sector announced nearly 75,000 job cuts by the end of May, up sharply from 55,000 in the same period the year before. Microsoft has trimmed thousands of roles this year, including 9,000 in July. Amazon and Google have also slashed jobs. Even Apple, once famous for avoiding layoffs, is quietly restructuring. Intel is planning to cut a staggering 20% of its workforce. But this isn't just about recession fears or overhiring during COVID. This is about AI. Unlike past tech cycles, the rise of artificial intelligence isn't fueling hiring sprees. It's doing the opposite. Big Tech's message in 2025 is clear: let's do more with fewer people. AI tools have matured rapidly. Microsoft's Copilot, Google's Gemini, and a wave of generative AI startups are changing the game. Entire workflows that once required dozens of employees can now be automated. Coding, customer support, marketing, data analysis, AI isn't just helping, it's replacing. Middle-layer jobs are vanishing first. Roles in QA, technical support, content moderation, and junior development are being wiped out. Companies that used to hire in droves are now building centralized AI teams that serve the entire organization. Instead of separate product divisions, tech giants are unifying everything under AI infrastructure. This has triggered a fundamental reshaping of how teams are built. There are fewer roles overall, but a sharper demand for highly skilled workers: AI engineers, data governors, model evaluators, prompt engineers. If you're not upskilling, you're at risk. The global fallout. These changes aren't just hitting Silicon Valley. The ripple effects are global and painful. Microsoft's decision to shut down its Pakistan office after 25 years sent shockwaves through the region. Eastern Europe, South America, and India have also seen mass layoffs, especially in support roles and business process outsourcing. Even in mature markets like Dublin and London, entire departments have been downsized. Why? Because many of these jobs were tied to the remote work boom. They weren't considered core to the new AI-first strategy. And when companies started trimming fat, remote workers in distant regions were often first to go. It's a hard truth. Many roles weren't just eliminated, they were replaced. A team of 10 support reps might now be replaced by a chatbot. A dozen QA testers swapped for 3 automation engineers with AI tools. What looks like a cost-saving measure is actually a total rewrite of how work is done. Investors are fueling this shift. They no longer reward headcount growth. They punish it. Profit margins matter more than ever. Boards want to see automation, efficiency, and AI integration. The question isn't, how many people do you have? It's, why are you still paying a person to do something AI can handle? Rebuilding around AI. What we're witnessing isn't a pause in tech growth. It's a reset. A deliberate teardown of the old model, rebuilt from the ground up around artificial intelligence. Microsoft is a clear case study. In 2019, They had 144,000 employees. By 2022, that number had ballooned to 221,000. Now, after several waves of layoffs, they're sitting at about 205,000, still larger than pre-pandemic, but radically reorganized. Their Xbox division has been slimmed down, regional offices have been closed. Developer roles are being automated using GitHub Copilot. At the same time, new AI-first teams are rising inside the company, small, specialized, and deeply integrated. Other tech giants are following the same playbook. AI teams now sit at the heart of Google's products. Meta is scaling back on VR and doubling down on language models. Salesforce is embedding AI into every layer of its CRM tools. And startups are no longer hiring for scale. They're hiring for leverage. This is the era of brand lords, not landlords. Office buildings that survive must offer more than square footage. They need integrated tech, flexibility, and identity. Buildings must now compete with your home, your local cafe, even your couch. If the in-office experience isn't better than the remote one, why bother? The same logic applies to jobs. If a worker isn't empowered with the latest tools, why would they stay? Companies that fail to offer flexibility and innovation aren't just losing talent. They're becoming irrelevant.